Let me think, what can I call today? So I've started doing bringing back the used bike bargains. I really do think not a lot of people do them, and they should, because not everybody goes out buying brand new bikes, do they? So I do love a bargain. I like to hit the used market to see what's available. These guys at Into Moto in Warrington, they always have a really good selection of used bikes, and they are bikes that fit a lot of budgets. They do have bikes ranging from, you know, £1,000 to up and away, but it fits a lot of people's budgets. So that's why I like to do the used bike bargains. However, today I've come in and remembering a comment someone made on one of my Keeway videos, I believe it was the Superlight. Someone said, why don't Keeway do the Superlight in a bigger engine? Why don't they do it as a 300 or something bigger? Now, I've come in here today and they've got a bike which is as rare as rocking horse shit. And I don't say that lightly, because I've never seen one, but it's a bike from Keeway that is bigger than a 125cc. Let's just have a look what I've got today, and let me know in the comments, have you seen one of these before? Have you even heard of one of these before? Cut to the bike. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Keeway Blackster. It's a 250cc motorbike, which until today I didn't even know it existed. Showing my knowledge, I know, but let me just give you a bit of history with this bike. So MotoGP, they import motorcycles from loads of different brands. They used to do it for Royal Enfield, they do it for Benelli, Lambretta, Royal Alloy, Vosges. I've missed some out, of course I have. They import a lot of bikes from a lot of different manufacturers, Keeway being one of them. This bike is from quite a few years ago. It would have been imported by MotoGP. What happens is they go into a warehouse, they're all boxed and crated up, and they stay there till somebody orders one of these bikes. Now this bike, I think, has just been kind of forgotten about in this massive warehouse in the middle of loads of other bikes. It's been found, and Into Moto, I think, are the first garage out of a MotoGP group that's just called dibs on it and got it here. And thankfully they have, because it means I get to go on it today and I can show you what it's like. I love the Superlight, I love the RKV, I love the V Cruise, so let's see if this makes that list as well. And what I say time and time again, the reason I love these bikes is because it's quite a lot of bike for the money. Those bikes I've just mentioned, they fit that category. Keeway are making great bikes, and if you don't know, Keeway and Benelli owned by the same company, so it seems to me like the quality is certainly going up. Let's have a look around the bike. I'll show you what it looks like close up, I'll show you the buttons, we'll have a full walk round, and then we'll go for a test ride. And this hopefully is the little bit extra power that we all wanted out the Superlight. But it's a nice looking bike, single disc at the front and the single disc at the back. Now the time of showing you around this, other than sit on to wheel it out of the workshop, I've not ridden this bike, so I can't tell you how good the brakes are, and I'll find that out when we do our test ride. Oh, look at that, it's even got a sticker on it, needs a home. And it does, and it might be one of you watching it today that want to give it a home. Might be me actually, I might like it that much. I am undecided on this bit. And all the way round to the other side. Key down here. That's very old school cruiser, isn't it? The seat appears to be very comfortable on the brief little sit I've had on it, but I like that. Rear pillion seat, you've got quite a big seat there. You can see I've got at least 4 hands across. It's quite wide. Decent grab handle as well. Your rear pegs, like with a lot of Keeways, certainly with super light, they're quite chunky. Everything about them is quite chunky. It's the same with the foot peg. I can't get my hand all the way around it, and that is probably twice as big as it needs to be, but it just fits the bike. It just makes it look that little bit more beefy. It is a chain drive, unlike the V-Cruise. There's even a little bit of embroidery gone on there, so you've got Blackster stitched into the seat. So we've got the speedo actually on the tank itself. You've not got them on the bars or above the bars. It's quite low down, and that's something that Harley Davidson have done for years, and they still do. The Sport Glide, my favourite, that does have a speedo on the tank as well. See where the influences have come from for this bike. I'm actually quite impressed. The buttons on this, decent, quite chunky, quite nice feel, and they do have the Harley Davidson controls as well. So if we just go over the left side, you've just got your left indicator, you've got your horn, you've got your high and low beam. On the right hand side, we've got your right indicator, we've got your engine start, and we've got a light on and off button. This bike has been registered as a 2016 bike, so it is, let's work, 7 years old. Quick maths there. So 7-year-old bike, but essentially it looks like a brand new bike. Let's turn the ignition on and see how many miles we've got on. 6 kilometers on the clock. That's barely took round the block, that. So this essentially is a brand spanking new bike. Now while I've been here, looks like it's just been christened by a bird as well. Now I'm sure that's supposed to be good luck, isn't it? Standard with any cruiser, we've got a really low seat. So I am 5'8", I've got a bend in the knee, I'm flat foot both sides. So this is perfect if you are a shorter rider. You don't need to worry about bikes like this. On my peg where my brake is. So you are forward. It feels like a comfortable position, but I'm not going to know that properly until we go riding. I'm undecided on that front bit, but I like everything else. So let's go for a ride. Let's see what it rides like. And I'm just really curious to see, has it got all of the extra power that you crave when you're on the 125 version? So let's go and see. Gloves are on, I mean business. Gentle rumble when you start the engine, but absolutely no vibration through the seat. It still feels like a big bike, but it feels light as well. Nice and easy, nice slow speed maneuvering. Cobble test. Ooh, what a really nice sitting position this is. Wow, quite impressed. Nice and comfortable position. I know they're cheap, and a lot of people don't like the fact that they're so cheap. I, for one, I do like that they're so cheap, because what's not to like about a cheap bike? If it works, then that's a winner for me. And this bike so far feels comfortable. Yeah, you can see where they've cut the costs with a couple of things, especially that thing here at the front. I just don't get that. But from a comfort point of view, from a power point of view, so far so good. It's got considerably more power than the 125 versions that Keeway have, and I always describe those as being, they're alright, you know, they're quite nippy, but this feels considerably quicker, as you would expect, being twice the cc's. When you put this next to the Superlight, there's not a great deal of difference size wise with them, but there is a massive difference when it comes to the power. And because it's a, you know, smallish bike, it's still okay for a little bit of sneaking through traffic. I didn't expect this today. it's not sports bike quick, but it's not a sports bike. It delivers its speed really nice and smoothly. For a bike of this engine size, it's performing really as you would expect, maybe even slightly better. This bike is brand new, essentially. There are little to no miles, probably, I don't know, 3 miles or something when I've sat on the bike itself. Now, it can happen. I'm sure you've seen videos on YouTube where people are uncrating bikes that have been in warehouses for 50 years or 20 years or whatever it may be, and this is just a bike that's obviously not been for that long, but it has been in a crate in a warehouse for best part of 7 years. Not touched, not ridden, not put together. They don't sell them brand new in the UK anymore, but when they were for sale brand new, they were a fraction under £4,000. I've just been speaking to the manager inside Into Moto, and albeit this is still a brand new bike, they are selling this for just under £3,000. So £1,000 saving on a brand new bike. That, to be fair, is worth every single penny. I mean, I'm comparing this to the current crop, like the RKVs and stuff. This looks a lot more retro looking than those bikes. I mean, I know it's an older bike, but it just has more of a super light feel to it, but it's a bigger engine bike. So if you imagine a super light with a lot more power, because that's what it feels like. Great sound. Somebody will end up with a really good bike here for not a lot of money. Less than £3,000 for a 250cc. It has the appearance of a 7-year-old bike, but it's not. It's a brand new bike. It's got no miles on. It's probably just been driven around the block when they've put it together to make sure it stops and starts okay. This is definitely a used bike bargain, and I'm using the word used very loosely there, considering it's not really being used, but it's been registered, so it is classed as a used bike, but you're getting all the benefits of a new bike, as in no miles. Let's do some sneaking. Now, as far as warranties and stuff go, because it's a used bike and it's, you know, 7 years old, as far as the warranty goes, you're not going to get whatever it is Keeway throw on the bikes now, but you will still get the dealer's warranty, so it will still have a warranty on it, like any used bike has a warranty on it, but you won't get the years that you get with a new bike, so you kind of factor that in. That being said though, how much for a used 250 with thousands of miles on? You're probably still talking around the price of this, which has got no miles on, which has never been taken outside in the wet until today, because you can tell it's brand new out the crate. Oh, I'm gushing over another Keeway. Do you know, I used to be a brand snob. Admittedly, I did. Before I started test riding bikes, I'd look at bikes like the Superlight and go, yeah, I really like them, I would get one of them, but then I'd go and buy myself a Suzuki, Yamaha, a Honda, something like that. Or a lot of people look down on the cheaper brands, and I don't think you should. I think it's a mistake that I made when I was younger, and it's a mistake that a lot of people make now. I think people just get caught up on the name, and I genuinely would be more than happy if this was my only bike. I'd be happy because it is a lovely bike to ride. It's really comfortable. It's got enough power for these types of roads. There's no issue with that whatsoever. I'm sure this would be fine with a little bit of motorway riding as well. I mean, there is no wind protection or anything to speak of, but you don't tend to have that on these types of cruiser bikes anyway, do you? I think I would buy this myself. I genuinely would. I think it is that good an option, and with the current price of it, I think it is just that good. So, on that depressing bombshell, because it is depressing, because I know this bike will be long sold by the time I'm in a position to buy it, I'm going to take it back. Sad face. Very sad face. If it had a Harley badge on it and someone told me Harley used to do a 250 and this is it, I would genuinely believe them, because it's got the Harley quirks, you know. It's a little bit rattly when you're going over bumps and stuff, but it sounds like a nice bike. It rides beautifully. It goes through gears really well. I can't get over how comfortable it is. It's just a lovely, lovely bike, this. I'm sold. I'm a fan. And if I had the money, I would buy this myself straight away and add it in my collection as my cruiser bike, because I just really like it. So unfortunately I can't at the minute. So if you're interested in a bike like this, it is an Into Moto, but you'll make me very sad if you buy it. But you won't care, because you'll be having a blast on this thing. So genuinely, it is that good. So that's going to do me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Laters.